Hello and welcome to another episode of Carry Talks Football. Today we're going to be talking about the AFCON, which has finally come to an end, and more Premier League games. There's been drama here and there, and we're going to talk about it together. Just before we get in, please like, comment, subscribe, and do all the nice things. Okay, so let's start with the AFCON, which has finally come to an end. The last time we met, it was just before the semi-finals, where Nigeria was to play South Africa and Côte d'Ivoire was to play Congo. You know how I said it before, how we'll get to Côte d'Ivoire later in the video. Let's talk about Nigeria versus South Africa. So we snatched South Africa's chain, and my piano belongs to us now. That's what really matters at the end. Like, the trophy isn't really that important. Like, we own our piano now. Who cares about that plastic trophy that they were going to present on the final day anyway? Right. I'm sure Nigerians, you agree with me. Congo lost to Ivory Coast. It's crazy. These guys were meant to be out, and they got to the final. And I said it, I said that they were going to get to the final. They're going to have this fairy tale story. Whole country was going to be behind them, and they did it. They got to the final, played Nigeria, and beat Nigeria in one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a Nigerian team. Like, you know what? In fact, I am kind of glad that Nigeria lost, because then we get to sack our manager, because he's shit. That was a shameful performance. He left our midfielders to die, and now Iwobi is getting hate all over the internet for a job that not even the best ever could do, not even Mikel could do. So it was unfair. We lost rightfully. It shouldn't have even been a tight game. What Adingra did to Ola Aina, he cooked that brother. Like, he cooked him. I can't remember last time I've seen cooking like that. But Côte d'Ivoire won, but that's not really the most important thing in the tournament. We won the Amapiano war, and that's, to me, is bigger than the trophy. Trustekon won the best player in the tournament. To me, that's bigger than the trophy. Don't question me. Congrats to Côte d'Ivoire, and they can celebrate in their houses. Who cares? But yeah, AFCON is over now. It was very, very entertaining. Can't even lie. I'm glad, like, the whole world tuned into this one, and it was actually due to the noise Nigerians were making, how we were bullying countries. Not saying bullying is right, but if we did not bully these countries, people wouldn't have been disinvested in tournament. People got invested, wanting to see Nigeria lose, which they finally got to see on the last day. But it was down to us, So Africa, you're welcome. Let's dive into, just before we dive into the Premier League games, I want to give a shout out to Alonso for what he did against Bayern Munich. Now, Alonso is a young and upcoming manager, and he's doing really, really well. He still hasn't lost a game this season. Like, we're in February. We're what, 2 weekends away from ending February, and this guy still hasn't lost a game this season. He's doing an unreal job, There was a debate the other day I saw, Arteta versus Alonso. Arteta took over an Arsenal team with an unlimited spending budget. Alonso took over a Bayer Leverkusen team that has never competed, at least in my lifetime anyway. Bayer Leverkusen used to compete in the early 2000s. They even got to the Champions League final. But at least for the last 20 or so years, they haven't been competing for anything. And now he's taking them to this level that I've never seen before. Personally, I might be, overreacting. Arteta should be getting more love, probably because he's been in the game longer, and that rightfully, like, that should be an advantage. He's been in the game longer. His fifth year, I guess, as a manager. Alonso has probably just completed a year, because he only joined Bayer Leverkusen halfway through the season last season. But the job he's done so far, the way he's built Bayer Leverkusen up, he's not gotten the budget Arteta has gotten. For me, I don't know, maybe I'm biased. Maybe it's because their links are also coming to Liverpool, which I don't think will happen, because if Madrid comes, Alonso has ties to 3 teams. The team that gave him his name, that is Liverpool. the biggest team in the world, Real Madrid, and the biggest team in Germany, Bayern Munich, where he retired. If any of them come calling, if all of them come calling at once, I don't see why he should pick Liverpool. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Tchouaméni not picking Liverpool, Bellingham not picking Liverpool, Kovacic not picking Liverpool. Like, I'm tired of heartbreaks. So, but the point is, in this Alonso Arteta debate, I am straying. I'm leaning more towards Alonso. Maybe with time, he will start failing, and I will see how we adjust these failures. Because with time, Arteta, who started as, will I say, a failure, has adapted and gotten better. Alonso has been, I don't want to say fortunate, because this isn't luck. This is pure tactics. This is pure setup. This is his brain working. But I would like to see how he would adapt when things get tough. But for now, with the job he's done in this little amount of time, I am leaning more towards his side. That's the Arteta Alonso debate for me. But anyway, let's get into the Premier League fixtures. There was a lot that happened. Let's start with the 12:30. You know what? Let's start with the most exciting game. I was going to go through the way the games were played, but let's just start with the most exciting fixture, which to me was the Arsenal West Ham. West Ham got battered. They got beat up, and before I even get into the game itself, Arsenal have, if there's anything they've done in these last few weeks, is cement their place in the title race. I'll keep on going back to how I discussed with my friends, and they said Arsenal are not in the title race. They are very much in the title race. This is a 3-horse race, and watching how Arsenal are keeping up is starting to make me panic. Actually, I don't think, if there's anything that would outlive Liverpool, is going to be City. But watching this Arsenal team and how they just the thing about the Arsenal team is it's not just them winning games, it's how they win games. They dominate teams, and that's really a set up, and teams have also set up to let themselves get dominated by Arsenal. So it's a two-way thing. Like, yeah, Arsenal come with a game plan. We're going to dominate. We're going to press this team and do this. But teams have also adapted, because you cannot go bar to bar with Arsenal right now. They will outpass you in the midfield. They would outrun you on the wings. So teams have started sitting back. The possession is now, the differences in possession is now getting wider, just so that they can hit Arsenal on the break. And it's worked so far this season, but it's like they're just getting better and better with it. They've considered 2 shots on target in their last 3 games. Do you know how crazy that is? They've considered the least goals in the league. They've considered, I think, they've scored second most goals in the league. They have the most clean sheets in the league. They're dominating. They're rightfully amongst the best teams in the league. Would that be enough for them to win the league? I hope not. But I'm not ruling them out. As a Liverpool fan, I hope not, but I'm not ruling them out. They beat West Ham 6-0, tactically dominated. I don't understand. Moyes, the issue with Moyes is very funny though. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Moyes, if he's the right man to lead West Ham. I think he's done very good with with the name West Ham. He's done very good, but with the players he's had, I don't think he's done enough, because he's had world beaters, but he still struggles. I mean, I don't expect West Ham to beat Arsenal, but I don't expect West Ham to lose 6-0 to Arsenal at the London Stadium. But there it is. Arsenal cementing their place in the title race. Still third at the moment, but just 2 points behind the leaders Liverpool. Level on point with City, who beat Everton in a very tough game for them. Everton did not even want to keep them. Everton did not want to play football that day. They just wanted to end the game 0-0. But when you've got Haaland, who's returned from injury, who has not scored in a long time, he was hungry. And every wise person knew to captain him for the weekend on FPL, and he delivered. They tried, but Alan was too good for them. To his first goal, oh my god, that shot power. Pickford tried to get a hand on it, but I don't think probably Alisson and Neuer that would get a stronger hand on that and push it away. I don't think any other keeper will be able to stop that shot because it was powerful. And then towards the end of the game, Everton decided to, they remember that they were a Premier League team and they decided to play football. And then De Bruyne and Haaland hit them on the counter and 2-0, game over. City were on top of the league for a while. It's getting sad. You know what? City were on top of the league. Now let's get into the Liverpool game where Liverpool beat Burnley 3-1. Burnley dominated Liverpool. It's crazy. At least in the first half anyway. Dominated Liverpool. Company is actually a good manager, I can't even lie. He has a group of young players who would need time to adapt, need time to grow, and fully absorb his tactics, because he plays such good football. He just doesn't get the wins, and people will say that's not the right tactics for the Premier League. We have the two Sheffield managers down that we've had. They've been playing, what we think is Premier League football, park the balls, long balls and shit, but they still lose it almost every game. But when a manager tries to play fancy football, that's when he gets more criticism, because English people don't play fancy football. It's a very stupid narrative. But anyway, Liverpool came out with the win at the end. It's just the quality of players we have at the end of the day is enough to get us through games like this. The first goal was from a Trent corner. Trent had a terrible game in that game, but his quality is still there. He plays a beautiful corner. We have Jota, who is arguably the shortest player on the pitch, and still manages to head every ball that comes in. I don't understand that guy. He's an experiment, but he gets us the first goal. Burnley equalizes, and then Elliott comes in, and he's been our super sub this season. He's so good. I don't understand why. I feel like Klopp doesn't trust him enough to start games, and I don't know why. Because every time he's played, he's been brilliant. He's probably had one or two bad games that I have complained about, but every time he's played, he's been brilliant. Maybe he's just not strong enough. Klopp doesn't think he's physical enough. But on the ball, in our midfield, he's top 3 for me on the ball. Like, he's top 3 in our group of midfield players. He's so good. Created the first goal for Diaz, and then created the last goal for Nunes. Nunes on the score sheet again. Nunes is he's gradually getting there. His goal and assist numbers combined are very good. If you check it per game, very good. He's contributing on all ends of the field. He's no longer looking at that lost child last season, and that's good. Liverpool were able to get back to the top of the league, 2 points away from City, who have a game in hand, and if they win, they'll be 1 point ahead of Liverpool. Every time Liverpool play Wolves on the last day of the season, we finish 1 point behind City. I am tired. Why? Don't we deserve good things? Why does Pep have to exist? I'm calm. But anyway, Liverpool beat Burnley 3-1. For Liverpool to win the league, they just have to beat City and hope that maybe Arsenal too can get a point from City. That's the only place I see us winning the league. I'm not really threatened, even though it's the Premier League. But if I was to look at the fixtures, I'm not really threatened by any other team, any other fixture. Just the fixture against City, which is going to be at Anfield. At Anfield, I'll always back us to win a game, but it is the Premier League. The teams we've dropped points to, I expected us to drop points to them. Well, not expected, but it makes sense that we drop points to them. But then again, we also drop points to Luton. So it's Premier League. Anything can happen. We're just going to have to keep on watching, and you're going to have to keep on coming back to hear me rant about the Premier League. Talking about Wolves and last game of the season, they played Brentford, who wiped them with the floor. Brentford dominated them. It was a good game plan from Thomas Frank is actually The Premier League is blessed with good managers, man. And that's another person that, to me, should be amongst the names to come to Liverpool. His style might not be as beautiful on the eye as the Arteta, as the company is, but his plans, you see his plan in games and they work to perfection. And Tony has played 4 games now. He scored 3 goals. He's catching up to the likes of Gabriel Jesus, probably even caught him already. That is the striker, and it will pay me to see him at Arsenal, because that will make them deadlier than they've ever been. Because right now, with no clinical striker, they are doing so well. Imagine they add Tony to that mix. It's crazy. I just hope someone else gets it. I mean, imagine they don't have a striker. They should come and get Tony or something, man. But yeah, Brentford beat Wolves. Tottenham Brighton, another interesting game. It was very tight. Brighton, it was an equal match. I don't say Brighton dominated. It was an equal match. The two teams, went for it. But at the end of the day, Son is back from the Asian Cup, which unfortunately couldn't win. And he showed everyone, why he's the captain of the club. He took matters into his own hands with the help of Richarlison, actually, and then put it on a plate for Brennan Johnson to win the game for Spurs, and that was how they secured a win. They're still very much in the top 4 race. I don't think any team is good enough right now to challenge City, Liverpool, Arsenal in that top 3. So every other position, the only position that is free for anyone to fight for is the 4th spot. And there is a team creeping up, which I hate that they are getting so close, and that's United. They beat Aston Villa, which so we have Tottenham, Villa, and United in that mix of teams that could creep into the top 4. Villa and Tottenham are obviously closer, but United beating Aston Villa 2-1 on the weekend has put them closer to the top 4 now. I think they're 6 points. Let's see, United are 6 points away from Tottenham, who are in the top 4. I mean, 6 points is still a large gap in Premier League sense, but they are there. They've won they've won their last 3 games in a row. It feels like on form, it looks like they are getting back to themselves, but realistically, there's still a lot of things they need to fix. This was a lucky win against Aston Villa, if I'm being honest. United fans might get onto me and say I'm hating. I'm not hating. I don't want United to do well, but United have won in their last 3 games anyway. But if you as a United fan are comfortable with the performance against Aston Villa, then that's fine with me, because it's only going to be to my own advantage, because this type of performances will always catch up to you. You cannot always sneak wins in every game. But at the end of the day, you got the 3 points anyway, and that's all that matters. Another good game from Kobe Mainoo. I mentioned it in the last video how he's like that cog. He's the one that has fixed the midfield, where United have struggled. Like, if you've seen games where United loses, they lose in midfield. But Kobe Mainoo, 18 years old, playing like like someone that's been in the game for so long. Like, look at the passes he's giving. I thought what he had in his game was all those short passes to control the games, and then in this last game he was swinging some long passes, and I'm like, wow, this kid is the truth. But and then there's Højlund too, also, who's in form now. I guess Højlund getting into form, Kobe Mainoo getting into the midfield, and United getting some of their defenders back has kind of helped in this form. Performance-wise, they're still struggling, but if they have a striker who will finish his chances, and they have a midfielder who would tidy up things when they need to be tidied up, then I think they have a good shout to get into the top 4. But that depends on the teams above them. Emery is starting to struggle. He's lost quite a lot of games in his he's won just 2 in his last 5. If you consider games from outside the Premier League, he also just lost to Chelsea, and it's not looking great for Aston Villa. But it is Aston Villa, and I said it, I think, in the first video or the second video. But teams like Aston Villa, teams like Newcastle, they overperform, and people start setting high expectations for them. No, this is what Aston Villa are meant to be. and nobody should be criticizing them for where they are now. It is Aston Villa at the end of the day. What they've done is a good job. Obviously, they would not like to fall off massively, but if they do, we have to remember that they are Aston Villa. We have the likes of Chelsea behind them, the likes of United behind them, who I believe should be above them. And considering pace at which clubs have moved, I believe West Ham should be above them even. If well, I won't say Newcastle and Aston Villa to me are like in the same boat, but they lost this game. Hopefully they bounce back. If not for anything, for them to keep United down, I would like that. And then other games from the weekend were Newcastle Forest. That was a very entertaining game. This is a debate. Well, something worth a debate. Is Elanga the fastest player in the Premier League? The quickest player? If he isn't, he has to be top 3. I mean, you guys can drop in the comments who you think are the top 3 quickest players in the Premier League. Well, I'm definitely putting Elanga as number 1. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head right now who I would say is quicker than him. We still got Adama Traore in the league. Maybe. Is he still in the league? I don't even know what's happening with that dude. But right now, I'm putting Elanga as the quickest player in the league. So quick. There were passes in the game where Nottingham Forest midfielders did not even care. They were like, I know Elanga will get it. And he got it. He could have scored 2 in the game. He scored 1. Very good player. But at the end of the day, when you've got quality players on your side, you can sneak a win like Newcastle did. With Trippier whipping in quality crosses, and then Bruno Guimaraes with beautiful finishes. They were able to manage a 3-2 win. Where does that put Newcastle in the table? Newcastle they've gone up to 7th. They are 5 points behind United. That is a crazy gap, considering they should be very well above United. But they're 5 points above United, behind United. Maybe there's a shout there, but 5 points is quite a large gap in Premier League sense. But they're still there, and then a 6-point relegation battle between Sheffield and Luton ended up with Sheffield winning the point and taking the win. Controversial penalties. The 2 penalties that were given in the game to me were not penalties in any way. I think after Luton, or Sheffield. I think Sheffield got the first penalty, and then the referee just gave the other penalty because he realized he had probably messed up with the first penalty. But Cameron Archer had a really good game and won the game for Sheffield. Chelsea beat Crystal Palace in a 3-1 defeat. That game, I think Chelsea played fairly well. They dominated Crystal Palace at least. If that's anything we can take from the game. But Crystal Palace were going to sneak a draw. Should have even won, because even the first goal they considered was avoidable. So they could have gone 1-0 at least until the 90th minute. But Chelsea, got an early goal in the second half. And then it was a struggle throughout the whole match until the 90th minute, where Cole Palmer just took things into his own hands and created goals for Gallagher and Enzo. And Chelsea have won a Premier League game. Yay. That puts them up to 10th. What a massive jump for them. But I mean, that's where they are now. That's where we recognize Chelsea anyway. We do last season, in fact, forget last season, in seasons where Tottenham have struggled, they finish like 5th, 6th, and they think the world is coming to an end for them. And then we have Chelsea finishing 10th in back-to-back seasons, and their fans are still making comments saying my players are ice cold. Nobody's colder than Enzo. Nobody's colder than Palmer. We've got the coolest squad. I think they've accepted their level, because this is what Fulham will be doing with where they are on table. But anyway, it's good for us that there's one less competitive team. And the last game to talk about is the Fulham-Bournemouth game. Fulham dominated Bournemouth. Willian was just whipping in beautiful passes. What a baller. It's one of them players that carried Chelsea in the era where they said it was only Hazard that was playing well. The lies we tell our kids. But anyway, Muniz scored 2 goals to help Fulham win. And it was a nice weekend of Premier League football. I feel like this season, there's been a lot of goals. You hardly see clean sheets in the games. Like, only 2 clean sheets. Only 2 teams kept clean sheets this last weekend. Brentford and Arsenal. And City, actually. City kept a clean sheet. Every other team conceded goals. It's an entertaining season, and a three-horse race is good. Even though we'll most likely know who's going to end up winning the league. But a three-horse race is actually good for the league. It's at least not like the Bundesliga, which I think the Premier League is turning into, because this will be the fourth win for City. Disgusting. But anyway, that will be the end of this coverage. I think next video, since the AFCON is over, the next video that I should be dropping should include Champions League matches, because the Champions League is back, baby. But the fixtures are shit. I'm not even excited for any Champions League fixture. That's crazy. Maybe it's because Liverpool is not in it. But I'm seeing teams like Arsenal, Porto, Real Sociedad. Like, what's going on with my beautiful Champions League? What are all these shit teams doing there? Well, anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all of the nice things. Let us grow together. Please drop comments, give me your opinions, get involved in the debate, like quickest players in the league. Who do you think is better, Alonso or Arteta? Who do you think is going to win the league? Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. As for me, I'm out.